Welcome to my world, bitch.
Chris, you look adorable tonight, by the way. Look at that t-shirt.
Well, thank you.
Ah, welcome back to our newest episode, Chris versus Josh. I am most definitely the Freddy of in this situation
Guess I'm the
because
more
you because because you
Jason.
don't because you don't speak at all.
Huh.
I'm
Huh.
and I'm the one
Huh.
always having to do the talking. Plus, you're the mama's boy, so yeah.
Wow. At least I'm stronger than you, and
Oh, really?
if it's face to face, in the real world. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Crosscut. I'm your co-host, Chris.
And I'm your more better looking co-host, Joshua.
He thinks. Anyway.
Ladies in the chat, please let us know.
Anyway. After all that, we decided to go with this week is Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah. The 2003 guilty pleasure
Oh yeah.
movie that Chris hates and gave me a reaction that said, "Ugh, I don't want to watch this movie," but I said, fuck you, we're watching anyways.
Well, I mean, after what I remember watching all of the Nightmare for sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street movies and all the Friday the 13th movies, and when it came out for Freddy versus Jason, I was like, really? And when it came out, I was like, I guess as a kid, I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, it is kind of. But now I think I appreciate it more after seeing it again because I haven't seen it since a kid.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I feel like I watch this movie a lot. Like I just pop it on like once a year at least.
Yeah, I know. I yeah, I don't think I've seen this since I was a kid because the only thing close to it was Halloween Horror Nights when they did that house.
Which, by the way, I have a whole section about that I want to get to. We'll wait
Okay.
down. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I
Okay.
actually have a whole section about Halloween Horror Nights that I want to
All
get
right, all
to
right, all
because I have a gripe about that. So,
right.
um, yeah, my introduction to this movie. So this movie came out in 2003. I was
Mhm.
13 going on 14. I didn't see it in theaters
Me
because
neither.
why would I have seen it in theaters, right? We were kids. However, I remember, this is right around the time where I started sleeping over at one of my best friend's house, and he
Mhm.
used to rent a bunch of horror movies.
Nice.
And in 2003, he rented this one. I think I was a freshman in high school, so I was 14.
Okay.
And I remember watching this at his house, and just like 14-year-old me, man, this was just like, I mean, it was awesome as a 14-year-old because I just not had not seen. Oh, did I win that for you, by the way?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
got this one.
nice. Speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, me and
Yeah.
my basketball skills.
Mhm.
Anyways, yeah, I just like seeing stuff like this. Now, I think at the time we watched this, I had not seen most of the series. So,
Mhm.
like, I like what they do in the beginning of this movie where they show a lot of clips, and it's mostly
It's
now,
more
if you
like
know,
Nightmare on Elm Street.
it's all Nightmare on Elm Street because of the legal issues. I'm not sure if you knew about that. So
Mm,
they legally could not show the Friday the 13th clips because so there's the whole thing going on right now. Friday the 13th legally is owned by Paramount, but the
okay.
but Jason the character is owned by New Line, which also was the same studio
Oh,
that did Freddy.
Freddy, yeah.
So that's why this movie is called Freddy versus Jason. But
Okay.
they legally could not show any Friday the 13th clips in this movie
Just the
because they
character.
because they couldn't. Now New
Eh,
Line acquired the Jason character in the I think early 90s or late 80s,
okay.
and they teased this movie for over 10 years at the end of Night or Jason Goes to Hell, the final
Yeah.
Friday. And if you remember that scene where the mask is sitting there and then Freddy's glove comes
Oh,
up
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I
pulls it
remember.
down. So they teased us for so long, and then it took them, this movie was in production hell forever. But, anyways, back to my original point. Yeah, man, 14-year-old me watching this movie, I was just like, this is a very visual movie, especially
Oh,
for a
yeah.
horror movie. It's so And it makes sense when you realize that it's an Asian director who had that, very kind of like Japanese
Like
style
anime.
filmmaking that was behind this. And this movie is very visual. Same director from Bride of Chucky, by the way. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
now I see the funniness about it.
Right. But yeah, man, me watching this as a 14-year-old, I mean, I loved it. I had a huge crush on the main girl and
Of
I don't
course,
know, man. This movie
Precious
this
Cutie of the
movie's
Week.
there you go. And this movie just stuck in my head for forever. And I probably didn't rewatch it for a while, but
Mhm.
maybe when I got into like college and whatnot, I probably, revisited it again. And I was just like, I know, for me, I know people don't like this movie, and I can understand like if you were a big fan at the time, this is probably not the movie you wanted. But 14-year-old me, this was the movie that I wanted because I didn't know what I wanted at the time, and I just watched it and I'll go ahead and just say this is a guilty pleasure for me, a guilty pleasure movie for me. But when it comes to like the Freddy and Jason universe, this is probably one of the ones I rewatched the most out of
Okay.
all 2 dozen of those put together.
Hey. The first time I saw this actually was from the box set of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hmm.
I had the box set. They had 8 movies, and that included Freddy vs. Jason.
Okay.
And then I also had the box set of Friday the 13th, but that one did not have Freddy vs. Jason. Only
And
the
again, does that now make sense because of the
licensed.
legal issues?
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's when I was confused by that for a second. I was like, why isn't it the other box set? But now that you said it, now it makes sense. But uh, I remember my brother and I literally sat down and did the whole marathon of Nightmare on Elm Street and all of Friday the 13th, and we left Freddy vs. Jason last. And and
That's a long marathon, man. That's
oh
that's that's like
hell
20
no,
movies.
that took like a month to do.
I bet.
It took like a
Yeah.
month. It was like every night, one movie a night kind of thing. Except for one time we did part one, part two of Friday the 13th, uh, all in one sitting. But those
Okay.
still like one movie a night, leaving Freddy vs. Jason at last, and because we were already expecting it to be stupid as hell after all the different ones of both universes,
Uh-huh.
and we're like, okay, let's watch it. Let's watch it. Okay, let's just go ahead. And then I got at the time I thought it was ridiculous. I'm like, really? And uh I guess afterwards seeing it like I saw it today and I I had most of it in the background, but then when some of the lines caught my attention, like, okay, now that's a classic Freddy. And I'm like, okay, that's Jason, knowing Jason being Jason.
Did this movie scare you as a kid?
No,
Really? Oh man, it freaked me out. I thought
no,
there's some really freaky imagery in this movie, especially the one she has the one dream in the police station and the little girl.
the oh the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's freaky. Yeah, well, I'll say that. But I don't know, maybe because I've always liked the gore and
Hmm.
everything like that ever since a kid. It's like it those I I, I liked the movies, not that they scared me, because there's not really any jump scares, not really, because you know it's coming.
No, but for Nightmare on Elm Street, those movies are supposed to be more psychological, especially with
Right,
Freddy. And the whole idea is like, okay, could this be a dream? Could this be real? That's
right.
always supposed to keep you on your edge of your toes, or edge of
Yeah,
your
to
whatever the
me,
correct
for me, it
phrase.
was more like just trying to figure it out more than like, is it real or not? I was like, I'm just trying to figure it out. But
Yeah, I get that.
uh, and what was I gonna say? But I do like the killings in this movie.
There's some creative ones. The most iconic one is the guy in the bed when he goes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the iconic. When I worked at Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood the one year,
Hmm.
I did Terror Tram and it was Jason was a part of the Terror Tram and they
Hmm.
had that effect in there. It was great. I was like, oh, I'm glad that
Okay,
Freddy
that's
vs.
cool.
Jason one lives
See,
on. But that's a great one.
that
There's
one
some
I
other
always
good ones.
remember.
Yeah, which is
Uh,
funny because I guess I guess the filmmakers had to fight for that to be in the movie,
what?
and now it's like the most iconic one from the movie.
Oh yeah, it always is. Yeah, and then I do like what was his name? Mark,
Mark, yeah.
right? With the burn and the
Freddy's
slash
back.
against his
Freddy's
face.
back on his back, yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. I
Mark,
like that.
man, Mark is the MVP of this movie. My one note is that so, I like obviously probably the biggest complaint about this movie is going to be the teenagers and nobody really cares. Like I said, I like the main girl. However, I totally would have been down for an entire movie just about like Mark and Will's perspective and
Oh
like them
yeah,
running around just trying to like figure shit out. I
yeah.
would have been I could have used so much more of like them two together, especially Mark,
Yep.
because that guy is such a good actor. He doesn't get his roses enough. The name of that actor is Brendan Fletcher. He's specifically a Canadian actor who you've probably seen all the way back since he was a kid in the movie Air Bud, the basketball movie. He plays
Woo.
kind of the like bully mean guy in that movie.
Yeah, I
He
haven't
was
seen
most
that one.
recently in Violent Night, the Santa Claus movie, as
Oh yeah,
one of the
yeah.
bad guys. He's always, I mean, any like Canadian production, he's probably in it. He's like the short guy with kind of like reddish hair, but yeah, I always remember him from this movie, and he's so good in it, man. Like the one scene where he's at the high school and he's like freaking the girl out, and he's just like so
One,
intense.
two, Freddy's coming for you.
And I like his little backstory. It's never really developed enough. And I think this movie, when you really rewatch it from our perspective now that
Mhm.
we're adults, now that we've gone through, film school and stuff, you can tell shit got cut out.
Yeah,
Because especially with Mark, well, first off, they break out, and then all of a sudden they have a van, and it's never really like shown how they.
yeah.
It's
How the
explained
hell
that
did he
it's his
get that?
right. It's his brother's. No, I mean, you kind of figure it out. Like, okay, he's staying at the parents' house. Obviously, there's nobody there. It's his
Mhm.
brother's van, so they just went to his house, but they're just there. It's never shown like, or even said like, hey, let's go to my parents' house. No one's there anymore.
Yeah, but
My
just
brother's van's there. It's just like they just have it now. So it seemed
yeah.
like now I did watch the deleted scenes for this movie. It's about 16
Yeah.
minutes worth of deleted scenes. You can find it on YouTube, but none of that stuff was a deleted scene. So I wonder if it maybe was
Huh.
in the script and they just cut it out of the script because I feel
Maybe
like there was more there with like
it
Mark
could have just
and
been.
like his
I was gonna say they could have just cut it because of time.
well, I don't think they ever filmed it. So I think they would have cut it just out
Oh,
of the script and never filmed it. Because
oh, maybe
if they filmed it, then it would have been in the deleted scenes. But
that's true.
like
That's
I said, I didn't see it in there. So, by the way, this movie has an alternate opening and an alternate ending, which I guess we could talk about the alternate opening. It's not too different. It's the girl who goes skinny dipping.
yeah.
However, you see her in one of the cabins, and there's a boy who's like, "I'm scared," and she's like, "I don't give a shit. I'm going to hang out with the bike." And then she like runs back and is like trying to get in. The door's locked, and the kid's on the other side. And he just flips her off, which I was like, "All right, interesting,"
Eh,
but could have been something more there. But I guess I can see why that's not the opening. We'll get to the alternate ending at the end of the
yeah.
episode, but that's like a bigger thing that I remember as a kid.
I don't remember
Anyways,
the alternate.
yeah, like I could have totally used a whole movie that was just like from Mark and Will's perspective and then just stays with them. And then hopefully Mark would have like made it till the end. Like that would have been cool.
Yeah.
He's the best character, man. He's the best character.
But I do agree that their storyline would have been perfect for it. Would have been more classic Freddy movies.
I mean, I get why they went with the teen angle because it's like that's what these movies
It's the
are, but
stereotype of it. Yeah.
it's the stereotype and it really is a stereotype. Like, but I do like the main girl, and I mean, I like the little thing with her and her dad, and her dad's trying to get her to go to sleep, and like what happened to the mom. But it's just not enough.
It's in the
It's pretty basic.
background.
It's
It's in the
basic.
background. It's been seen before. It
I guess they probably were also like, well, we need somebody to be in the house because it's supposed to be the original house
right,
that
right.
Nancy was in, so it's supposed to be
Yeah.
1428 Elm Street. Which, by the way, I was taking a drive the other day and I drove by a house that was 1428. I was like, oh my God, but it was in Elm Street. Anyways,
It's funny that you say that. There's like, oh. when we're looking at houses and lots and stuff like that around here, there's a lot that's actually on Elm Street.
Nice. You should live there.
So like, okay.
Um, yeah. So, but I do like, I like the characters in this movie. I like the teenagers. As
I
people might
mean,
say they're annoying, but I like them. I like the one
I
guy who is basically like a Jay ripoff from Jay and Silent Bob. Freeberg is his
yeah,
name.
I don't know. I think as far as the teens, they were very blah to me. Like you had the main girl, like sure, she does resemble a lot of Nancy in a way,
Yeah, I
but
think that's what they were going for.
right, but like yeah, like the Freebird was just a character just there,
He was the
and then
stoner guy. I liked him. He had some fun personality to him.
I guess, but
You know who I
I
actually
do like when
liked
he's
the
possessed though. That was cool.
Right. You know who I actually like the most? I think when the first time I watched this, I was like, "Oh man, I like that guy. I hope he doesn't die." Is the officer? Um,
Oh, from
what's
Scream,
it? The guy from Scream, right? Or no? Scary Movie.
scary movie. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Officer. What was his name? Or Deputy Stubbs. I don't know. I liked him. He was like the outsider. He didn't know what was going on. He's
Yeah.
just trying to like figure shit out. Like I don't know. I was just like, oh, I like this guy. And then Jason plants his face into electrical thing and blows his face to shit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But I feel like the characters weren't yeah, they weren't developed enough, like you said.
they didn't have enough time. They were generic.
They were, even the friends were all stereotypes. Like I said, the stoner, the best friend, she was very stereotyped too, you know. Uh it's just the okay, the friend from Ginger Snaps, what's her name? I just know her from Ginger
Hold on.
Snaps.
Gib. It was name. Her name was Gib.
Gib. All right. Well, I didn't mind her character because she had like that okay, I don't give a shit.
Hmm.
But then it was like you're giving off that personality, but then you succumb to the boyfriend. I was like,
Well, she was drunk.
seriously?
Well, actually, she was passed out. That was a dream. So I give her a pass on that because it's like
No,
it's a
no,
dream. You don't really know.
no. But in real life, with how the boyfriend treats her,
Oh, well, whatever.
I was like, she still succumbed to that. I was like, huh?
That's the weakness of the male penis.
Eh,
One day you'll understand that, Chris. Actually, I did want to talk about the party, the rave scene. I don't know. I
yeah.
always like that setup. I always thought that was like a fun little setup because first of all, this movie was very much filmed in Vancouver, and it
Mm,
looks like it was filmed in Vancouver. But also, I don't know. I just like the cornfields and then like
mhm.
the factory and stuff like that. And I think it was like a real factory they filmed in. And I was just like, oh, that just like looks fun. And
I
everybody
did
looks like they're
like
having a
that.
good
I did
time.
like that dream though, how she's running away in the boiler room, and
Hmm.
then I couldn't help but laugh when she falls off the rail and Freddy's like, oh, like,
Actually, I was paying attention to that scene, and when she hits it's like a wide shot when she hits the locker. I think it's
mhm.
like a dummy, and then it cuts to like more of like a closer up of like the body hitting the floor. I think it's a dummy that originally hits that because it goes pretty
Probably.
like limp. I was like, I don't think that was a real person, but yeah, I don't know.
But
I like that scene though. And then of course, I mean, come on, okay. So I do have to mention this. So there's the two guys that are smoking, and then Jason pops up, and they're making fun of him. Then Jason turns the one guy's head around.
yeah,
So he he throws something on him, and I thought it was water, and then he lights him on fire, and I'm like, how the hell did he light him on fire with just water? But I think it was supposed to be vodka in the pitcher that he was drinking.
yes, yeah.
'Cause I
Cause,
think that would make more
no, it
sense.
was Everclear. He even says it in
That's
the
what he
movie.
says. Yeah,
Yeah,
Everclear.
this
So they clearly
Everclear is
set
getting
that
me
up.
fucked up.
Right. Which, by the way, that actor, I have to give him a shout out because he actually passed away last year.
Ah,
The shorter guy, his name's
damn.
Chris Gauthier, or something like that. You've seen him in a ton of stuff because he's another Canadian actor. He was in Supernatural. He was in Once Upon a Time. He was in one of my favorite episodes of Masters of Horror that John Carpenter did with Norman Reedus. Like this guy was in so many things, and he sadly passed away last year.
Damn.
So I just wanted to mention that. But yeah,
R.I.P.
but that scene though, like he gets the machete that's on fire through the chest, and then it's just
Yeah.
Jason just slaying people down. Which, by the way, you could tell all stunt guys because they're wearing the beanies, and it's just like they keep them looking younger, which I thought was kind of funny. But I don't know, I just like seeing him walking through the cornfield on
Oh yeah,
fire,
that
and
was a
yeah,
cool
that
shot.
was
That was
great.
a cool shot,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that was another death I liked too, the machete right through the chest
all
on
right.
fire. Like,
And then it's just chaos. Okay, we got to talk about Weston Hills because I know we're getting
okay.
there on time. So, did you know that Weston Hills was already previously established in Nightmare on Elm Street?
The third one?
Exactly, Dream Warriors. And
Hmm.
Hypnosil was also established in that same movie. That was
By
the
the
drug
same
that the
thing.
doctor was trying to get
For the
approved. So I like that that came back. Now, obviously, I saw this movie before I saw three, but it's cool that there was like, that connection that
Mhm.
they brought that back. So
They even
Hypnosil.
they even showed the scene of Dream Warriors too in the
But
beginning.
they showed a lot of Dream Warriors in the beginning, yeah.
Um,
So, but yeah, the Hypnocell comes back, and now it's being used on these patients.
right.
And okay, so I like the Weston Hills scene. I like the asylum. And
Mm,
okay, so one of the scenes that always stood out to me, and this is where I'm going to bring Halloween Horror Nights into the mix. So
okay.
the one scene where it's all the patients in the coma and they're all laying on the table.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a freaky scene. And
Because
then
it is.
it is, right? And then when Freeberg is tripping, the one comes up to him. Well, first of all, they're all sitting up like this, like talking, pointing.
Right.
Like that's freaky, right? And then Freeberg has the one next to him and it's got like the bloody-eyed one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, as a kid, that freaked me out. Like that was freaky. And I always said if they ever did a Halloween Horror Nights house of this movie, they have to have that scene in there. Like imagine walking through a room and they're all sitting up staring at you, and doing that, and then one
It would be
actor
creepy
jumps.
as hell.
It would be
Like,
creepy, right? And it probably would have been like all mannequins, and then one have been would have been
right.
real,
One of them would have been
you know.
real, yeah.
But I always said for the longest time that would have been a great scene. And then in 2016, Universal Orlando and maybe Hollywood, I don't know. They did they did Freddy versus Jason
Yep.
house. And sadly, the actual house was not based on this movie. It was really just the greatest hits of each kind
Yeah, of
of
each one.
one.
Although
And
there
I was
was
just
more Freddy than Jason.
there was I remember way more Freddy than
Oh
Jason.
yeah.
And I was just like, man, that would have been the time to do that scene.
That would have been a
And they
cool.
didn't do it. I mean, if they ever redo a Freddy vs. Jason house that's more like the movie, just the movie, that would have been a perfect scene of just like walking through that room and they're all sitting up staring
Yeah,
at you, and then one
that would
pops
have been
out
good.
with the bloody eyes. I'm just like, ah,
That
missed
would have been good.
opportunity.
That would have been good.
Missed opportunity. But
Well, maybe they'll pull something from Freddy vs. Jason for the Jason universe this year. You
nope.
never know.
Oh, I
No?
already know because I already went through it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Nothing
no.
about Freddy vs. Jason? It's just all
Uh,
Jason?
I mean, no, it's all just Jason. There's nothing Freddy about that house. It's
I
I,
thought
I
there'd
was
be
a
like
little
one thing.
I was a little disappointed by that house, I'll be
Really?
honest. Yeah.
Was it
I don't know.
focused on more the original ones or more like the
I
Goes to
mean, it
Hell,
just felt like you were
Manhattan?
just walking through it just felt like you're just walking through a cabin the whole time. But they do have the different Jasons, but I'm just like, could they have had a little bit of different scenery?
That's
So,
it? Just the
yeah.
cabin?
That's what it felt like. It just felt like you're in
That's
the cabin the whole
disappointing.
time.
I just
Yeah,
know
it was
in the
a little
Freddy
bit
vs.
let down.
Jason's house, I remember I do remember a lot of Freddy, but then only one character got me, and that was because I didn't expect Jason to be at the very end,
Hmm.
and but he wasn't. He was already outside of the the set. He was behind the
Hmm.
black curtain, and he just went like this with the machete. He was like, "Oh, come on!" I was the only one who got me. I remember that.
All right, so let's talk about um well, I don't know, we could talk about the fight scene at the end. I mean, that's the big two things. So there's two
All
big
right,
fight scenes. One happens in the
in
dream, one
Dream
happens in
World.
reality.
The Dream
And
World was just funny. I mean,
yeah,
it
I
was
mean they
just
had when you have the sound effects of you know, whatchamacallit, the ding 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 and stuff
right.
like that.
The yeah, the pinball. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that was the funny part. Yeah, and I mean it's Freddy, so he's always gonna have that sense of humor thing.
Yeah. I
And
will say when he goes into Jason's mind, that also was freaky. But it was cool
yeah,
to see
yeah.
like Jason's like his like cabin in his mind and he's like dragging the body and there's just like heads sitting around places and like I
Hmm.
don't know, I thought that was creepy too as a kid.
That's yeah, it is creepy. And it is, makes you think like that's what he thinks about every day, you know.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
Jason that can't die. And but and seeing like where the him as a kid at the Crystal Lake, I was like,
Hmm.
damn, you really feel for him.
Yeah.
You really do.
Even though he's killing all these innocent teenagers, but that's the movie.
Yeah,
And
well,
then
another
there's the
green
big fight
arrows.
scene at the end, which I remember this. So I guess it's only in the trailer and it's not in the movie. It is a deleted scene that I did see, but
Hmm.
there's a scene where the girl when she brings Freddy back, she goes, "Fred versus Jason, place your bets."
What?
Yeah, that's an actual scene that I remember from the trailer that I always thought was in the movie, and then it wasn't in the movie. And
Huh.
this was such an iconic thing from the trailer that Quentin Tarantino himself was like, "Hey, what happened to this scene from the movie when he went to the premiere?" And
Hmm.
they cut it from the movie, but it's like a deleted scene now. But the girl literally goes, "Freddy versus Jason, place your bets," and it was like, "Ah, yeah, let's fucking go." And then I don't know if you remember the marketing for this movie, but they did like a fake boxing thing, but it was like Freddy and Jason, and they had them like come out and like face each other.
I don't
Yeah, that
know.
was like fun times with making movies. But yeah, the fight scene at the end is fun when they're just absolutely just killing the shit out of each other and
Oh yeah,
ripping their
it's always
appendages
fun to
off
watch
and
that. Yeah, the
just
limbs, the
rips
Jason's
Freddy's arm
fingers,
off and his
Jason's
fingers. Yeah,
fingers.
claws his eyes. It's great.
Yeah, I had forgotten how he kills Freddy, and then when I saw, uh, and then when they like switched weapons, I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you see just someone just walking on the deck, you think it's Jason, and
Yeah,
you
it's a good
see,
little fake out.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
a good fake, and then
Right.
just,
Now I will say this. So Jason, he's kind of on their side a little bit. Like we're kind of rooting for
yeah,
Jason, and he saves them at the end. And this movie never got a sequel.
no,
It totally could have got a sequel, but this movie came out right before the reboots and the remakes started happening.
yeah.
But technically, there is a sequel to this movie, just not in film form, but in the form of a comic book. It's uh, Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, which was
Oh,
supposed to be the unofficial
oh,
sequel. And in the comic, 5 years later, the two characters from this movie, Lori and Will, go back to Crystal Lake and Jason kills them.
yeah.
And I kind of want to you can find parts of the comic book online
Okay.
somewhere, but
Now that you mention, I do remember the three characters that were in one thing. Must have
yeah.
been that, but
So Ash, and then there was, so I guess, this movie had just went through so many like things. I think at one point there you would have liked this. I don't know if you ever heard this. At one point when they're fighting, chains were supposed to grab each of them and bring them
uh,
into Hellraiser. Like for real, like that was like considered a thing. Look it up. And
they
then
should have done something like that.
I think even at one point there was rumor that like it might have been like Jason versus Michael Myers, but they were like, "Well, we can't have two guys that just don't talk. That doesn't make sense." Because really, this works perfectly. You had the loudmouth versus the quiet guy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
perfect. But like,
complete
yeah,
up.
like there was like rumored of like Hellraiser was going to show up at the end and stuff like that.
See, that would have been cool.
Speaking of the ending, so I like this ending to this movie, which actually was the reshoot ending.
Okay,
So this ending, Jason comes out of the water. Different actor, by the way. That's not the origin. That's not the Jason that we've established throughout the whole movie. Because it was a reshoot, it's actually a different guy
okay,
who actually went on to play like Michael Myers in other movies, Halloween movies. But and then
hmm.
of course he's holding Freddy's head. Freddy winks at the camera.
Yeah, I
Cut
know
to
that ending.
I love it. To that I have this on my playlist, like a 2003 song. Over the credits, I'm just like, yeah, let's go, like some heavy metal song. Um, Alternate ending, and you can look this online. It's like 3 months later, 2 months later.
Hmm.
Will and Lori are in bed making love for the first time, and then he kind of is like on top of her, and she goes, What are you doing?" And then he just like gets up and he smiles and he goes like this with his hand, and then the blades come out, and then he slashes, and that's it. And I was like, "Yeah, that's dumb." And I think that
Uh,
was like the
I like the
original
wink
ending that
better.
they, yeah, that was the original ending that they tested, and people are like, "Nope, don't like that." Because like the final frame should be Freddy and Jason.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
literally
mean?
that. Freddy versus Jason. No,
Right.
I like that. Just the whole like,
Yeah, it's a little nod, and you never know. Well, I was just gonna say this, so I know this movie never got a sequel, but if you could have had your perfect vision of a Freddy versus Jason 2, what would it be? Go.
oof, if it was a Freddy versus Jason 2, I would like to see them back at it, and like just them, and but still going back and forth between the dream and the real world, like it is at the end. But I don't know. I kind of just want would just see them two.
I think a cool Freddy versus Jason sequel would have been bringing in Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th and Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street to help the Will and Laurie out in the sequel.
Okay.
I mean, that should have just been the movie, though. Like,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you have just brought in back fan favorites from each one to somehow be in this movie, and then like made the main character like the Mark guy, and like have the whole story about his brother? I think that would have been a great thing.
I
But
think
you
they just
had to, but
wanted
of
to do
course you had to
something
have the.
different.
I mean, you could have still had Lori, but just made her like a background character because you needed somebody to be at the house, right?
Right.
So you could have just had her as like a minor character. And I feel like if Mark was the main character, I think this movie would have held up better because he's just a more interesting guy.
Yeah. And I
You could
would
have
say
had he had the
he
whole story with his
chose.
brother. I would have loved to know more about what happened to the brother. I mean, it's obviously it's
Yeah.
implied, but just like to have more scenes about like what was going on there and just like Mark and just him playing detective. Like I love stuff where they're just like playing detective. And we get a little
Yeah.
bit of that in this
It,
movie, but I just could have used so much more of it.
yeah, his character was definitely better and honestly better acting.
It was. He was probably one of the better actors in this movie.
Yeah, because it's
Freddy versus Jason 2, Mark didn't die. He somehow lived. He's like
mhm.
back in Weston Hills. And then Nancy comes to visit him. And then fucking Tommy Jarvis shows up. And then boom, let's go. It's Tommy, it's Nancy, it's Mark. Mark in like a wheelchair or something. And let's go. Let's go. And he's got scars on his face. He's all grizzled. Like, come on.
Stars in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. And he's getting his revenge. Freddy versus Jason 2, Mark's revenge. Oh my God, post-credit scene in the original movie should have been Mark still alive somehow. Because really, he gets slashed in the face, but like that wouldn't actually kill you.
I mean, it's
He,
implied that he died, but
no, I know it's implied that he died, but
but
like
all
if
you
you
see
actually
is
get slashed in the face, that wouldn't act like real life. You can survive from that.
right. You would get
It'd just be a
scarred.
terrible scar. Yeah,
Right. And it's like a third degree burn on his back.
right. So he could have
He
could have
technically
survived.
could have lived, yeah.
Anyway, so that's my conspiracy theory on this week's episode of Crosscut. We got a few minutes left, so let's wrap this up. Chris, final thoughts on Freddy versus Jason celebrating its 22-year anniversary. Hard to believe, makes me feel old. I'm going to be watching
22
this movie for
years.
another 22 years when I'm 57. Final thoughts, go.
Final thoughts on Freddy versus Jason. It's a fun movie to watch. Definitely seeing Freddy and Jason go at each other. Uh, the teens, eh, but seeing the two icons go at each other is definitely worth the watch, for sure.
That's what this movie will be most remembered for, man. Those two icons going at it. And it was Robert Englund's last performance as Freddy, and he
Yeah.
killed it, man. He always killed it. By the way, I got to say, the one scene, the dream scene where they're at the camp at the end, and his makeup, when he looks like
Mhm.
Demon Face from Insidious, looks so cool. But anyways, yeah, Freddy versus Jason, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I watch it all the time. I'll always put it on, especially now that it's spooky season and I got my sweaters and my scented candles and my apple cider. Chris has got his shirt. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's it for this week's episode of Crosscut. Thanks again for hanging out. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Comment. Chris has hairy nuts if you've made it this far. And we'll see you in a week.
Yeah. Cut, print, moving on.